As long-term investors, we're typically not incredibly concerned with recessionary periods and stock market crashes, although just like anyone else, we want our portfolios to perform as best as they possibly can during these scary times. With that being said, I have 4 individual stocks on the board behind me that I believe will perform well in recessionary times. A lot of the times, most investments that perform pretty decent through all market cycles are, for the most part, boring, right? They're boring investments that'll put someone to sleep, but they, for the most part, always cash flow. So again, that's what this video is all about. These investments that perform well in all economic cycles. The first one is probably, or arguably, the most popular one and the most well-known one out of the bunch here, Consolidated Edison, a massive utility, one of the largest in the US, with millions and millions of connected customers. Ticker is ED, currently has a beta of 0.25. For newer investors, what beta is it's simply a measure of volatility. So for example, this stock, Consolidated Edison, according to its beta, its 3-year beta, is 75% less volatile than the broader markets. Volatility meaning the share price moving in an upward and downward movement there. So that's what beta is. So again, we're looking for stocks that don't make these violent moves for the most part relative to the broader markets, but we also want cash flow. So with beta and cash flow and boring, these again tend to perform better than the overall markets in recessionary periods. Now this next stock is one that I've mentioned before, but for newer viewers, I want to introduce Flowers Foods Incorporated, beta of 0.23, ticker FLO. If you've ever had Wonder Bread, which 98%, at least Americans, 98% of Americans can identify with that brand, they know exactly what that brand is. If you've ever had Wonder Bread or really any other bread or pastry from an American supermarket, you have had a Flowers Foods product. What's interesting about this stock is it only lost 1% during the last Great Recession of 2008. So again, this is a very boring stock, produces very basic and affordable baked goods, which most consumers like to enjoy during recessionary periods. Instead of, going for the king crab leg or the top sirloin, they're definitely not going to miss out on picking up some sandwich bread in the next recession. This next one, a lot of people actually don't even know that it's publicly traded. Every time I've mentioned WD-40 as a stock, it's actual, publicly traded, able to be purchased. They say, oh my gosh, I've grown up with that. I have a can in my garage. I have a can in my truck, whatever it may be. Well, WD-40 is one of those excellent products that is used during all economic market cycles. And interestingly enough, you can find WD-40 in many countries, over 170 throughout the world. So this is a very interesting company. And not only that, WD-40 is their flagship product, but they also have many specialty products that are used in many industries around the world. Beta of 0.19. Again, all of these are snoozers. They're not interesting. They just simply produce, which I like. The next one, arguably even more interesting than WD-40, is IntercontinentalExchange, ICE. Now, a lot of people don't know that the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, is owned by this company, so you can literally be part owner of the exchange itself, the marketplace itself. If you're worried about different stocks going down during a recession, why not just own the entire marketplace itself where those stocks are traded? So IntercontinentalExchange, ticker ICE, owns a New York Stock Exchange. It owns many different exchanges at which trade many different products and companies from around the world. So really interesting play there. It has a beta of 0.41. Again, another snoozer. These are just interesting choices that aren't the everyday norm that you read about online or that you hear about in forums. Again, I like to bring up stocks to my viewers, to you guys, that you may have not considered, again, you may have not heard of before, or for instance, you didn't even know was publicly traded. Now, a lot of the times when I look for different stocks that I want in my portfolio that fit my criteria, and actually a lot of you have asked me this, what type of website or screening product do I use? Well, I'd like to point out a free resource for everyone that is watching, and some of you have probably used this. It's been very popular. It's finviz.com, 100% free to use. Of course, just like any website, they do have a premium paid membership, I believe, but I've always used the free version of it. Again, it's finviz.com, F-I-N-V-I-Z. and you're able to get on there and screen for different dividend yields, different industries, market caps, whatever it may be, and you're able to dial down a list of stocks with the exact criteria that you're specifically searching for. So just a little tidbit there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like dividend investing or just stock market investing in general, and you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing. I usually post videos several times per week. I also try to respond to every single comment I possibly can. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next video.